those Capri Campers are worth looking at. And I can tell you, there's few people in the world that I value their friendship quite as much as Pete and Tyson over at Capri. They're a great bunch of guys, and I'm very fortunate that I've been with them my whole career, because Capri Campers have been around for a long time. And so when I grew up looking at becoming a rodeo cowboy, every great rodeo cowboy before me had a Capri Camper. And so once I got my own, it feels like you made it a little bit.
Hey there, fellow wanderers, and welcome back to the Wandering Gypsy RV Life Podcast. I'm your host, Stan Cromlish, author of the Rolling Smooth RV book series, coming to you from somewhere out on the open road with my trusty companions, Birdie B and Rosie. This podcast is where the RV lifestyle meets real stories from the road, the lessons learned along the way, and conversations with people who live this life in their very own unique ways. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's see where the road takes us today. Today I have Pete and Tyson D'Acosta from Capri Campers. Pete, Tyson, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
I always like to get the history of people I talk to. So, Pete, how did you get started? Go back to the beginning of Capri and what you've done before Capri.
You don't care about that. How long's your podcast?
As long as you'd like.
No, listen, the short version was I had in my young life, a much different career of working with private equity guys and running bigger companies. Traveled a lot, chasing a dream for many years. After that, I walked away from that and began late in life looking for a business that Tyson and my daughter Miranda could join me in. And Capri was honestly just the biggest stroke of luck there was. I was using a little bit of a search engine to look for companies for sale in a 3 or 4 state area in the Texas area. And Capri came on my radar, I think the day it got listed. I knew nothing about campers. Tyson had a career in Colorado going on. And all of this came together really probably just fate. But let's see, 2013? Does that sound right?
Yeah, the end of 13, middle of 13.
So we're in our 13th year now at Capri. But anyway, found the listing here in Bluffdale. We'd never been to Bluffdale before, but we are real familiar with the Dallas-Fort Worth area and Wichita Falls area. It just geographically was just a perfect fit. So made a run down here, met a broker, then met the owner, kind of rolled the dice and decided this is the little company we wanted to take on. And it's been just, a wonderful ride ever since. I will tell you, we did not have any camper background. We didn't have any rodeo. You can tell we're not rodeo cowboys. So, that's why Tilden likes us, is because we don't compete with him at all. We just love him. But anyways, so it's been a run for us, just about a 12.5-year run of learning as we go. We quickly discovered the legacy of Capri and how it was tied to rodeo, and we embraced that. We've tried really hard to update and modernize the camper without changing any of the vintage classic look of the camper. We preserve that, and we think that's one of the biggest parts of the brand, not only historically, but going forward. We love the little niche of being kind of in this vintage space while everything else keeps changing and modifying and modernizing. We love the kind of the throwback to the old Western days.
Very, very cool. So I understand from Truck Camper magazine that Capri started in 1969, and it was two brothers. What do you know of the history of Capri pre the D'Acostas?
Well, you're right about that. In little town south of Fort Worth, the Torres brothers, I believe, we've seen a Capri with a Torres brothers sticker and Capri Camper on it, and that's what we were told kind of is the origin of the camper. Started in a garage, the Torres brothers garage. We don't know much more than that. The gentleman we bought the company from had owned it for many years during its heyday. And moved it from Burleson, which is a suburb south of Fort Worth, out here to Bluffdale in 2003, and built a house and had 80 acres out here, in fact, in Bluffdale from about 2003 until we purchased the company in 2013. But Henry, the previous owner, had owned this for many, many years, and he did. He was involved in getting Capri in the middle of rodeo for many years, and he was the real deal as well. He was a retired military, I think a fighter pilot, great guy. But he had moved on to other things, and Capri, he wanted to be sure it sat in the hands of good stewards, and so we did our best to kind of preserve that history.
So Capri obviously has a legacy in rodeo, and one of the things I had read is that Capri is the Cadillac when it comes to rodeo truck campers. Do you still find that to be true?
Well, if you mean by Cadillac, kind of the epitome of the genre, yeah, I guess. I mean, listen, we didn't have anything to do with the connection in rodeo at the beginning. We have an awful lot to do with it now, and I can tell you that we probably have 140 or 50 world-ranked professional rodeo cowboys in our campers now. Every world champion in bull riding, saddle bronc, bareback, going backwards many, many years now. And I just think that it's such a perfect fit for rodeo. If just to give you a quick example, because we hear this a lot, but 2 or 3 of the young guys, rodeo guys, would go in together, ride from one location 20 hours to the next rodeo for an 8-second ride, and then finish the weekend, come back or go to the next rodeo. But 2 or 3 or 4 of those guys can all ride, sleep. One drives, 3 sleeps, for example. So they trade off along the way. They don't have to worry about a hotel. We hear a lot of the convenience factor and the simplicity factor. Our campers just make the travel in that lifestyle not only a lot more comfortable, but a lot more affordable. And one of the great examples, in addition to that, is we had a guy, one of the rodeo kids was telling us about a rodeo in Waco, for example, happened to be in the same weekend as a Baylor football game, and trying to get a hotel within 60 miles of a rodeo event when there's a college town and athletics are involved is next to impossible. And when they find them, they're so expensive, right? So you have a Capri. It doesn't matter where you are. When the rodeo's over, you can bunk down and get a good night's sleep and then get back on the road. And so I think they make all kinds of sense for that sport alone.
Yes. So I know the Capri comes in a cab-over model and a non-cab-over model. Explain why Cowboys would buy one or the other.
Yeah, the Retreat is our cabover model. It gives you a lot more space. The inside height of that one is 6'5", compared to the smaller, the Cowboy non-cabover is only 5 foot. So on the Retreat, you're able to stand up inside. It gives you the cabover bed, and most of these Cowboys care about sleeping space. So having the cabover bed plus another bed down low or a bunk bed as well gives them a lot more room or area to sleep. And also a large majority of them love the shower that the camper comes with. So can't do that in the smaller Cowboy, whereas the Retreat, almost every one of them has a shower inside. So that's the main reason.
Okay. So you can see I'm in a Class A motorhome right now. What when a rodeo cowboy is configuring their Capri, what RV systems can they add to it, like air conditioner, power tanks, propane, generator support? What are some of the RV features y'all put in a Capri?
Hey, before I'm going to let him answer that, but before we go to that, remember that the rodeo grounds or events that they're going to are not necessarily RV conducive. All these guys have trucks, right? And almost all of them are in long bed, 8-foot long bed pickups, single wheel or dualies. And so before he tells you all the different things you can get inside a Capri, just remember that the limitation and the convenience of having your living quarters on your truck, no axle, there's no separate titling or registration requirement when it's on the truck in most states. So it's a huge advantage to not have the fifth wheel or the motorhome size and scale. So let me start there, but Tyson will tell you everything that's inside.
Yes, we've got a list of 20 different options they can all choose from, but a majority of the rodeo guys pretty much go with the same list of options. But the AC, which comes with the heater, so electric, AC and heat, the shower is a big one, and a sink are kind of the three main components of the rodeo campers. A lot of them also have a refrigerator and a microwave inside, but each guy kind of prefers something different. But those are kind of the main rodeo items. And our campers, like Pete just said, are more simple, and we also have to worry about weight and size because these guys are driving so much over the course of the year. The heavier or bigger the camper is, the worse the gas mileage and the wind effect and all of that, takes its toll after you're driving 100,000 miles a year. So we've worked with them for the last 13 years. We've been here on kind of fine tuning a layout and items and all of that conducive to the rodeo lifestyle. They also care a ton about storage and closet space because if you are traveling with 3 or 4 different guys, everybody's got to have a place to store their stuff, plus get a good night's sleep and shower. So those are kind of the main components of most rodeo campers.
Okay, so freshwater tank, I would assume, since there's a shower on board?
Yeah, so the shower comes with a 30-gallon freshwater tank. Most of the rodeo guys now are going to the electric water heater. Most of our other customers go with a propane water heater, but we've got either or to choose from for the rodeo guys. If you go with the propane water heater, it comes with a standard 20-pound tank. Also have a propane heater option and a stove option as well. But most of the guys, like I said, go straight electric. So it's a 30-gallon tank, water pump, and an electric water heater. And then our campers don't have a gray or a black water tank. So the water from the shower or the sink just drains through a hose. Basically, that gets fed through the bumper of the truck onto the ground under the truck. And they carry a little bucket with them if they have to contain the water, capture the water where they're at.
Okay, so no black, no gray, no worrying about bad sensors or anything that I've got to worry about in the rig I'm driving. So that's the simplicity of a Capri in a nutshell.
It is. Just so you know, also, I know we're talking rodeo a lot, but the way we sell our camper, we build them by hand from the ground up, and it's customizable. So everybody gives us the list of the options that they want, including the color and interior, and we build every order to the order of the customer. So rodeo is kind of not pigeonholed, but those guys all seem to want about the same thing in their camper, so that's easier for us. But more of our business is non-rodeo related, and those customers they go through a camper builder process and simply tell us which options they want on their camper, and we build it to their order.
Oh, great. So I was in Truck Camper again. I read that Jen Landon has one of your Capris, Taylor Sheridan.
Yeah, these are pictures of her. This is Jen Landon on hers, and that's her at a rodeo with Tyson's son.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's from Yellowstone. Taylor Sheridan's ranch is right up the road, his first ranch, the Bosque Ranch, and he has one on the ranch. And then Ryan Bingham from the show from Yellowstone is in one, and we have quite an expanding list of famous, not so much famous, just people that are in the rodeo or Western space that love the camper.
Right. The Western lifestyle, because Capri is synonymous with the Western lifestyle. More so,
Yes.
not just rodeo, but the entire Western lifestyle.
That's right. Sure. In fact, I think that was one of the great fortuitous things, moments for us, is when Taylor launched Yellowstone. We obviously had no idea that was coming. But it was not only was it shot a lot, mostly up the road from us, but the rodeos in the scenes, some of the scenes were from here in Texas, even though they shot in Darby, Montana. But we were lucky enough to meet Taylor early on and kind of joked around about it. The Dutton Ranch trucks were authentic. They'd all have Capri Campers on the back. And he told us, if you build us one, we'll put it in the show. So we did, and he did. So it worked out.
That sounds like nice product placement for Capri.
Very lucky. It worked. The timing was good, and you mentioned the Western lifestyle, but I think he has done more than anyone around to promote and publicize the Western lifestyle, and that certainly helped us a lot.
Yes, I am sure. So Tilden told me in the podcast I recorded with him that he doesn't have to worry about his Capri. It's 99% maintenance free. Does that give y'all some pride in hearing something like that when contestants say they're virtually maintenance free?
It does for sure, and that's kind of why we've stuck with the simple mindset on all of our campers. But we've tested every part and piece over the years, and like our faucet, have an upgraded faucet from a majority of campers and RVs out there, because we've just learned over the years what works, what doesn't, what's cheap, what's not, and we probably spend more money on little things than most companies, but to make it simple and maintenance free, and these guys, don't have time to be worrying about a broken water pump or, whatever it is. So that's kind of why we've stuck with what we do and kept them simple, is because that exact reason, keep them going down the road without having problems.
And I like the fact that they don't have any black or gray tanks, because those are such a pain to maintain.
Exactly.
So that all goes back to our simple philosophy. This is probably deeper than you wanted to go on.
No, this is. I want to go deeper, man. I
all
want to
right,
go deeper.
So there are a lot of ways, a lot of companies out there, a lot of RV and camper manufacturers. Many of them are giants that have assembly lines and on and on. So a lot of ways to own a company and run a company. For us, probably because we had to walk before we ran, we did everything gradually and carefully and cautiously. When we bought the company, there were 7 Capri models from the early days. We very quickly reduced that to just 2, just a cabover and a non-cabover. We've resisted the temptation to, because we get ideas, suggestions from folks all the time, resisted the temptation to make serious changes to the camper, because what we have built over and over again just doesn't break, and we get better at it. There are techniques that we've gotten better at just because of learning the learning curve. And for us, we don't have, honestly, Tyson and I are the only 2 that'll answer the phone, which you've heard it ring already. Sorry, but we don't have a receptionist. We don't have a parts department or service department. We don't outsource anything. It's the 2 of us all the way through the sale process till you come pick up the camper. And we've got a dozen very, very good carpenters, that have been with us now almost the entire time. And we've, by design, don't promote a lot, don't advertise a lot. We never seem to run out of a ongoing wait list. So, we're always on any given day, we should have next month already sold out, but we don't have any real ambition to blow this up beyond that, because it's too easy for us to run the company and enjoy every single day this way. So all of that kind of feeds into a much simpler business plan. It's just the two of us. We're not answering to any board of directors, or there's no investment group that has to have a serious return on investment, all those things. It's just, let's run a very stable, very solid business. We're incredibly lucky to now have a 57-year-old brand. That's something you can't go start from scratch somewhere. But, we feel like we've been given just a wonderful opportunity here to be good stewards of just such a classic brand. And for us, it's more about every single day, the customers that come through here, especially the rodeo kids, the nicest, most polite, respectful people on earth. And it's just like the greatest little business because we haven't let it get out in front of us too much. It's just, we got our arms around it, and we try very hard to make every day a fun day.
So to quote Tilden, you don't get out over your skis, so to speak, with simplicity. You keep it simple.
Yeah, we're not skiers either, but he's right. That's exactly right. Exactly right.
So, and speaking of that, I'm in a Tiffin motorhome. Tiffin is built in Red Bay, Alabama, but it is a complex system. There are days when I wish I had just a Capri camper with no tanks, no issues, no anything. But, and to be watching from the outside in and looking from the outside in, Capri Camper is a brand that is synonymous with the Western lifestyle, going back to that.
Yes. And a simpler lifestyle. Yesterday, we had a customer pick up her camper yesterday, a professional woman from Idaho, single woman with 2 dogs. And this was like her dream. And she knew some of the, she wasn't rodeo related, but she knew some of the barrel racers in rodeo and had seen their Capris. And so for years, couldn't wait to finally have her own Capri, but she's going to use this on the road while she works. And I guess my point about that is if they're cozy because they're not like the living room you're sitting in. They're not big like that, but everything you need if you're a single or a couple or even young families with kids, it's a very safe, very solid, cozy environment. And if that appeals to folks, it's just a great little environment for that reason. And most folks, are not in it all day. They obviously sleep in it and travel with it in it. But, if you're going to be on the outdoors, you want to be outdoors. So it's just a great little place to jump into.
Exactly. Does any of the Capri come with a cartridge type toilet or toilet out? You just go to the rodeo grounds restroom.
Yeah, the only toilet option we have is a self-contained portable toilet. It's got a 5-gallon tank, but obviously customers can bring their own or add their own. But yeah, the self-contained portable toilet is the only toilet option we had, and it works and it's better than nothing. So
right,
and it's simple;
right.
It can't break, right? So
yeah. It sounds like y'all subscribe to the KISS principle. Keep it simple.
Exactly. We do, for sure.
So, what should a first-time Capri buyer think through before ordering one of your campers?
I think for most people that haven't been in a camper, it's more understanding how the camper works and the electrical system. Like a lot of people, it seems, don't know the difference between 12 volt and 110. And, the camper comes with a dedicated battery, which runs your 12 volt in the camper, which in our case is your lights, your water pump, USB outlets, the fan, things like that. But in order to run the AC, the microwave, the normal 110 outlets in the camper, you got to be connected to shore power. So travel with a generator, connect to an outlet somewhere. And I think a lot of people just think, I can jump in a camper and it all works just with a push of a button, which is true and not. But you just got to understand the simple fundamentals of how how the systems work. And, it is a small space, right? So you see these shows on TV and the tiny home fad and all that stuff. But it does take some getting used to and figuring out the storage and where you're going to park for the night and things like that. So it's more just thinking through the basics.
So I'm going to make an assumption, which is, are the Capris a 30 amp or are they just a regular old 20 amp?
30 amp.
30 amp.
I'll give you the not the stereotype, but the happiest customers after the fact have been tent campers. They've been campers before, and anyone who's been out camping either alone as a couple or with the family, any of those that are experienced campers are wonderful Capri long-term customers, because the hard-sided step up from tent camping is like the Four Seasons, right? Compared to tent camping. And we sold some for folks that I've got all kinds of stories I won't bore you with, but folks that use it as a mobile office. They can travel or they can work from anywhere. And if they carry a hotspot or an internet signal with their camper, they can work from anywhere in the country. And we've sold quite a few we even had a great story with a couple that had an Airstream, and he worked all day long at the table in the Airstream, but the wife, was kind of getting tired of having to give up the comfort of the Airstream while he's always doing his business. So they bought a Cowboy, the non-cabover, to fit in their truck. And of course, the Airstream was a bumper pull. And the whole point of that was the Cowboy became his mobile office. And when he picked it up, he was and most of these folks buy our camper sight unseen. So it's a reveal when they pick it up. But so when he picked it up, he was so excited about that. He couldn't hardly stand it. And, he told me later that his wife wanted to occasionally swap places with him. She wanted him in the Airstream, and she wanted to be able to watch TV and do her own thing in the Cowboy. But so you've got all kinds of flexibility in there. But I would tell you that the ideal camping customer is an experienced camper who's just looking for an upgrade in a hard-sided camper like ours. And the reverse of that is, I don't know that we hear so much about a disappointment, but I do think that anybody who is used to the RV that you're in, for example, we have lots of retired couples that are scaling down on purpose. They love the Capri because it gives them the camping lifestyle, but a really simple environment compared to the pullouts and the pop-ups and all the things that go with the bigger ones. But if somebody's looking to go cross country in a family of 5 or 6, I just wouldn't suggest a Capri for something like that. But you know what I mean? So just needs just be a simple lifestyle.
Right. I see the Capri is a niche, and I could sit here all day and listen to stories, Pete, of happy customers and all of that, because you've got a story to tell here, and that's what my listeners want, are the stories and the products and the lifestyle. Yeah. Are there days that I would give up this motorhome for a Capri? Yes. When I have to replace a city water connection, or I've had a bad water pump, or my tank sensors lie to me, yes, I would trade it in a second for a Capri.
Yeah, I understand. We hear that a lot.
You said, Tyson, that it's a 30 amp power. Have you thought about putting solar on the roof and an inverter? Yeah, I know it gets more complex, but
yeah, we do offer a solar panel as an option. So we do that, and all of our campers come solar ready with an external port already built in and wires to the batteries. So we are on top of that for sure. The inverter kind of comes back to you can't be all things to all people, and adding that adds another complication and something to go wrong. And so we've toyed around with it, but at this point it's more just keep our campers bulletproof where nothing can really go wrong or happen. And again, now with technology, you can travel with a Goal Zero or a Blue Eddy or Jackery, to use for 110 outlets or a portable, battery inverter in the camper. So, and even, through testing and everything else, if you want an inverter to run your AC, you're going to have to add 4 or 5 batteries plus the inverter, and you still only get a few hours out of the AC. So it's just a lot of weight, a lot of space, a lot of problems, for a temporary fix for, a couple hours of cold air. So
right.
we just kind of resisted the temptation to go down the inverter route.
Makes sense to me. I mean, keep it simple, because these guys, like you said, are traveling 150, 200,000 miles a year, and all they really want is a place to sleep, change clothes, take a shower, go the next 8 seconds.
Well,
exactly.
And they all every one of those guys carry a generator. That's a little unique to Rodeo, because a lot of other campers do too, but Rodeo guys have pretty much, they've got the rig all set up with a generator in the back, and they never run out of battery, because they're always plugged in. So for them, the camper it's just turnkey. It stays functional all the time because of the generator they have. That's another thing with tent campers are usually familiar with the difference between 12-volt and electricity, but having a generator with the camper eliminates any real problems with having additional battery power. I mean, if you've got a solar panel on the roof and you're carrying a generator, that's all you need to be off the grid for weeks at a time.
That's it. Agreed.
Yep.
So to close this out, I know Capri has a YouTube channel and a Instagram site. So where can people find Capri Campers?
Yeah, like you said, Instagram, that's just Capri Campers, and same on YouTube, Capri Camper. We have Facebook as well, and sorry you have to see my ugly face on our YouTube channel. But yeah, those are kind of the 3. And then our website, capricamper.com.
And if people want to contact you, just go to the website and fill out the form, or call you up from the website phone number.
Yeah, either way, give us a call. Or Google our phone number, 254-728-3226. Or, go to our website. There's a form that'll send an email directly to us. And like Pete said earlier, it's just us two that'll answer every phone call, every email. So,
sorry.
On cue right there.
It sounds like the phone's ringing off the hook, Pete.
No, it's just a normal day, another day at the shop.
Hey, I love it.
I will say the website, Tyson has done a ton of videos. We have an awful lot of articles having Truck Camper Magazine wrote over years about us, and a lot of testimonials and things like that. But there's also an FAQ on the website, so folks can go there. We've got plenty of photographs and videos on our campers. So if you're new to the game and you have any interest, the website, I think, has all the tools to learn as much as you want to learn. Certainly you can call us as well. But the first step, usually the best step, is the website, just because you can visually see things and answer your questions that way.
And we've got the camper builder on there, so you can play around with, you see all of our options, all the pricing. If you pick and choose items, it'll add up the price for you on the side of the page. You can play with your camper colors, all that stuff. So it's a good way to just at least get a simple view of the camper to see.
Yep. I was looking at your Instagram before this podcast, and you have most of the top 15 in the fold of Capri Campers. I mean, you just delivered one recently to Rusty Wright, I think.
We did, and his brother Statler, who just won the Saddle Bronc World Championship last year. And
Rocker Steiner was 2 weeks ago, and
we've got John Crimber. He's part of the PBR. He just won the World Championship in the PBR 2 days ago. He's coming on Friday to pick up his camper. So, we've got 12 of the top 15 bareback guys, 11 of the top 15 Saddle Bronc, and 8 of the top 15 bull riders. So the rough stock. Luckily, we're We're right there.
Hey, Pete and Tyson, thank you so much for joining the Wandering Gypsy RV Life.
All right. Thanks so much for having us. Appreciate it.
Y'all have a great day. Before we wrap this one up, I want to give you a heads up on something we've been building behind the scenes. Doug and I have teamed up on a new series called Cowboys and Cowgirls Rolling Smooth. And this one runs straight down the same road we've been talking about today. Because whether you're in a motorhome, a toter home, or hauling horses in a living quarters trailer, it's the same road, same bumps, same breakdowns, just different rigs. This series is built for the Rodeo Road. Real stories from folks living it. Real stories from miles most people never see. And real solutions when things don't go the way you planned. You'll find it over on Beyond the Chutes. And if you've ever chased a horizon, hauled a dream, or fixed something on the side of the road, this one's for you. Thank you for riding along with me today for this episode of the Wandering Gypsy RV Life Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share the podcast with a fellow traveler so more folks can find us out here on the road. You can find more stories, photos, and adventures over at wanderinggypsyrvlife.com. If you're looking for gear that helps keep your rig running right, check out Techno RV through my affiliate link at technorv.com. They really do help you adventure more and worry less. And if you enjoy cowboy storytelling and rodeo history, my good friend Doug Simcox hosts a great podcast called Beyond the Chutes, which is well worth a listen at beyondthechutes.show. If you'd like to dive deeper into the mindset behind this lifestyle, you can check out the Rolling Smooth RV book series at wanderinggypsyrvlife.com/rolling smooth. Until next time, keep your rig rolling smooth, keep your coffee hot, and remember, sometimes the best repair isn't just the one that fixes your RV. It's the one that quiets your mind. Safe travels, my friends. And remember, not all who wander are lost.